I would like to start the conversation from when you were coming out of the hospital, the last time you were in the hospital and coming out, and the information that you had at that point, and how you were feeling, and the information that I shared with you, and the difference that, as far as you could tell, made some kind of a distinct shift in how you were feeling and your level of activity. And I just want to go through all the details because it's important for me to make sure people understand what is at the core of what I offer. It is sharing information, and the sharing of the information can be really so helpful. And it's not a whole lot different from the information that we get from the food we eat. A lot of people don't think that when they're eating, depending on what they're eating, they're actually putting specific information in their bodies that their bodies will use to do the things that bodies do. Healthy things, replace cells, strengthen the immunity, go after viruses. Food plays a big part of that. And that's information that's in the food. Now, most people don't think about that as being information when they're eating, but it is. And so what I am doing is sharing information much in the way that a person would acquire information from eating food. It's just a different medium. It's a different information set. And the information set that I work with is information that is communicated through water. Now, a lot of the great things that we eat that are really good for us also have a lot of water in them. An orange, a tomato, watermelon, melons, grapes, all of those delicious, juicy things have quite a bit of water content in them as well. And part of the way that they work so efficiently when we eat them and bring them into our digestive systems is that they go to work immediately with the communication that the body needs to do what those things will contribute to the health and well-being of any body, most of the time. So I want to make sure that that's our baseline of understanding. And does that help frame the conversation for you so we know where we're going?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So,
well, wait, let me first introduce you. This is Jan Oberman, and he lives in Sarasota, Florida, where he's really close to those gorgeous white grainy sand beaches. And he has a very happy life in Sarasota. And so he's joining me today from Sarasota, and I'm in Philadelphia. Okay, Jan and I have a long association. It goes back many years. And when Jan describes what he has recently had to sort of sort through, as a friend, I thought, if I can help it, I don't let friends suffer if there's no reason for suffering to happen. That's whether it's a flat tire or you need a babysitter or whatever. We don't let friends suffer. When we can help them out, we help them out with whatever we can bring to the table. Okay, so there we go. All right. Yeah, so why don't you just start to just share with us as you feel inclined, and know that I may interrupt you to ask a question or two. Sure. I would say if you can begin with the information that you had that last day as you were preparing to be discharged from the hospital. And if you want to share why you were in the hospital, and we need to have a disclaimer that this is going to be talking about your health information. That's private information. I do respect the HIPAA policy, and I have to just say, we have agreed that that's part of what could be shared in this conversation, so that I can be possibly helpful to other people who may be in a similar situation as you. Okay, got to cover my, CYA, right?
Okay. So I just want to briefly go back a little bit further than just to give background to why I was in the hospital. So I have COPD, And there's two kinds of COPD, emphysema and chronic bronchitis. I have emphysema. I was diagnosed with it in 2008. I didn't believe it. I was in denial. I was like, you people are crazy. I'm fine. But it's the kind of thing that progresses. It doesn't go away. It doesn't get better. It only gets worse. So I would say about 2 or 3 years after that, I had my first experience of being out of breath when I wouldn't expect myself to be out of breath. And I was shocked. And it went on from there. And 2019 was the first time I was hospitalized for it. When you have COPD, there's something called a flare up or an exacerbation where you need immediate treatment. And so I was hospitalized for a couple of days in 2019. And I was not hospitalized again until March of this year. And but it did continue to get worse through those times. What happened in March was I actually got pneumonia, which is something aside from COPD, but you put the two on top of each other, it's pretty scary. And I had I didn't know the symptoms of pneumonia, but in retrospect, after I found out all the symptoms of pneumonia, I had every single one of them. So I didn't know what was going on, but it was obvious, diarrhea, chills, shakes, uncontrollable shaking. Anyway, so I was in the hospital for pneumonia, and I think that may have been ordinarily maybe a 4-day stay, but it turned into a 7-day stay because they found some strange bacteria in my blood called nocardia. And nocardia is very rare. There's like 500 to 1,000 cases a year. So they were trying to treat that. They were trying to pin down what type of nocardia it was. And they shifted the diagnosis to nocardial pneumonia. So they put the two together, and my pneumonia was because of the nocardia. So I ended up being in there for 7 days, from a Tuesday to a Tuesday. And when I was let out, it had really taken, I really wanted to go home, but once I got home, it was like, it had taken so much out of me. I was weak. I was still very short of breath. I've been on oxygen since 2019, but over these last 3 years on the oxygen, I've had ups and downs. I've had times when I didn't need it for weeks at a time. I've had times when I've needed it more. But almost never did I need it at rest. I needed it when I would exert myself. And this was getting to the point where I needed it in the house to walk from one room to another. It was definitely going in a direction. It was not a couple of bad days. It was like really taking a turn. And I found myself using it when I slept at night. I found myself using it when I was sitting in my chair in the living room. And I also had my pulmonologist actually, this was before all of this happened. This was March 16th. My pulmonologist told me I had 12 to 18 months to live because my COPD was in stage 4, which is called end stage COPD. And when I was in the hospital, another cardiologist confirmed that. So I had pulmonologists. I had 2 pulmonologists telling me, you've got a year to a year and a half. So part of me didn't believe it, because the same way I didn't believe when they told me I had COPD, it's just a denial. It's like, there's no way I'm going to die in a year and a half. Anyway, so, it continued to get worse. And after the hospital, I had follow-up appointments with my primary doctor, with pulmonologists from the hospital, with infectious disease doctors from the hospital. I was seeing so many doctors. My primary is another one, and they were all prescribing different things for me. But shortly after I came out of the hospital, Anais introduced the idea of this to me. If I remember correctly, what she said was it was information water. And it's like, that meant absolutely nothing to me. But my reaction was, what the hell? It can't hurt. I'm willing to do it. And at first she sent me 3 different types, and they were getting to the point, well, 4 if you count the topicals, but they were getting to the point where they were almost used up. And meanwhile, I was on more medications than I've ever been in my life. I mean, aside from the everyday stuff that I always took, which was like a multivitamin, vitamin C supplement, glucosamine, chondroitin, magnesium if I was getting crampy. One doctor put me on an antidepressant called Lexapro because I was crying all the time, and that helped. I was afraid that it was going to make me flatten on emotion. It didn't. It just made it so I didn't cry all the time, which I thought, well, that's fine. Anyway, and then there was other inhalers and nebulized medications and so many different things for the COPD, for my breathing in general, along with what Anais gave me. And I started to notice a very big improvement after about a week to 10 days. And I couldn't, and I still can't to this day, tell you why. I'm curious as to what's making the big difference, but not curious enough to want to stop taking any of it because I don't really care why I feel better. I'm just really thrilled to be feeling better. And I'm feeling better to the point where I haven't used my oxygen in the last week. Yeah, maybe more. Maybe it's more like 8 or 9 days. It's night and day. It's dramatic. It's undeniable. When people ask me, when I tell people I'm having a good day or I'm having a bad day, the only thing that has to do with is my breathing. If it's a good breathing day, I'm having a good day. If it's a bad breathing day, I'm having a bad day. That's how I judge everything. And this last stretch of 8, 9 days, it's like it's not even a factor. And I don't know what else to say. And it's just, I hope it lasts.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So thank you for that wonderful kind of setup for the conversation, because it's important for people to understand the details and the nuances. And as I explained to Jan, my work and my product line, which is called Sourced Solutions, is meant to be synergistic, which means it's not in any way going to be antagonistic to any traditional form of medical therapy. That's not how it's designed. It's specifically designed to assist anyone's body to the maximum ability possible to remember what it knows how to do to heal itself and to be healthy. That's the design of my information, which is communicated through water, and it's sterilized spring water. It's not anything complicated. What is very specific and quite complex is the intellectual property process that I use to put that information very specifically into specific arrays, sets of information, combinations, if you will, that then are embedded in the water. And then it's simply an easy process because human beings are at least 73% water in our composition. We're a lot like fruit, some fruits. And the communication is simply water into water. There are very few barriers in the body that will not allow water to pass through cells, any kind of structure, whether it's your liver, your lungs, your heart, your whatever it is. Water is the common communicator besides blood within all of the structures of the human body. So I was so grateful. First of all, as I said, I don't like my friends to suffer. When you can't breathe and you're uncomfortable and you can't go through your normal activities and you're struggling, that's really uncomfortable and it's scary. And as Jan mentioned in the beginning, he's in transition and it's day by day. And the beautiful thing about it is he also said, we don't know where that's going to go. Right?
Right.
People have ideas about where it could go, where it should go, what it might, but what I love most about what I do is that over 3 decades now, what I do has demonstrated that those fixed ideas, I'll use the word gently, are breakable. They're breakable. Those ideas, those concepts are breakable. And so in my own work over many decades now, and working alongside doctors in hospitals, we have together, physicians and I together, have witnessed when those ideas break. And they break because I've become involved and I'm sharing my information. And so that's real fun for me because I like breaking ideas that are not let's call them limited, really limited. And I'm not, although I've been ordained as a minister, I'm not someone who's all wrapped up in a package of the inexplainable having some sort of religious connotation. I broke that idea a long time ago. And at the same time, I appreciate that that's an idea that many people, that's the way they get into transition from something that's happening to them that they would like to shift and move into a different direction. Hey, doggy. And then actually having the experience. And very often, for a long, long time now, humanity in general, people in general, we don't know why things go one way or the other. And that's a big question. And I think the answer to that question is, well, we don't know. Let's just find out as much as we can. And that has been, in a way, the pathway of what is now called science. Let's find out. And let's see if what we observe and what we notice and what we understand becomes a stable structure, a way to think, commit, and take action based on what seems to be a kind of a fixed solid, a constant, if you will, in mathematical terms. Okay, so the work can then shift because we're such complex, gorgeous, 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 magnificent structures of energy. We are all energy, everything is energy. Everything is, there's no getting around that. There's just no getting around it. And while we're presenting to each other in our bodies and we're talking with our mouths and we're breathing, it's all still just energy. And so I think the new constant in ways to, if you will, quantum collapse what have been fixed, stable ideas about what's the next step that's possible. And all we need is the next step. Just take one step, right? And see what happens. So that for me is the, in terms of physics, is the experience at a micro scale of quantum collapse, where what has been a stable constant of accepted thought or understanding suddenly collapses. It's triggered into collapse. And in that collapse, it transitions and opens up into the opportunity to become a new constant. So I would describe that's the nature of what I do. And that is what my product line is intended to do. It is intended to open up the option to create a new constant in terms of how we take things into our bodies. Food is a constant. Nobody argues that we have to eat, right? It's a constant. We accept it. We do our best. We grow fabulous food. We have tremendous variety. We enjoy it. There are many, many things in our lives that are.
And when we don't have an appetite, we know there's something wrong.
That's correct, right? So we have information that we can be aware of. And the other aspect of what I do that I really appreciate is offering to people the opportunity to become more intimately familiar with their own bodies. First, it's just the physical structure, the meat suit, as it's sometimes called. But then there's more to us than that. And most people walking around really don't have any information about what that more is or how it functions. And it also operates on a series of constants. And unfortunately, most of those constants are unknown to, I would say, the majority of the population. But that's something that can transition. That can transition. And I think in times to come, it will transition. So what Jan and I have created by mutual agreement is a bridge. And we're just on the bridge. And right now, at his end of the bridge, he's experiencing something that feels good to him and he likes it. And he would be agreeable to having it continue. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, we're in transition. We're on this bridge. That's where we are. But I wanted to have us communicate with you about the bridge that we have agreed to meet each other on. This is the same bridge that I have met other physicians on in other areas of struggle and challenge in the physical realm, including cancer and critical catastrophic burns and other things. So where I am so grateful is to thank Jan for being willing to agree to try. Just agree to just check it out, because we both knew baseline it wasn't going to do any harm.
Exactly.
And there's an oath that's based on that principle. Do no harm. Okay, so who's this delightful doggy?
This is Guido. It's Mr. Guido.
Hi, Guido.
He's my best bud. He doesn't hear too well.
That's it. Well,
And he doesn't see too well. But he's a lover. He's a lovey.
Hi there, Guido. He's very handsome.
Oh,
Yeah. Hi, Guido. Yes. Hi. Oh, look at that happy face. That's so sweet. Well, I'm glad Guido is here. So I think I should probably let people know that there are specific source solutions that I sent to Jan to get him started. to build this bridge that we've built. And they are source solutions that I do offer as part of my holistic practice. And I am a certified bioenergetics practitioner. So, I also had training as I was certified as an emergency medical technician to cover my beep beep again early on when I began this work with energy and information. So I wanted you to know, those of you who are watching, that there's a specific set of essences that I first sent to Jan to get his physiology, getting the information, and finding out, oh, okay, can we use this in some way? All right. And then him being aware, because of how he felt, that his body had chosen to use the information in the same way that it chooses the information to use in his medications. Your body accepts the information and works with it. Okay. And then after a week had gone by and Jan and I were checking in, and he was noticing more and more that his body was responding to the information. Then I sent him a different set of my source solutions, and he began to take those internally as drops, specific number of drops, certain times, over, once, twice, 3 times a day, and to continue to use the topicals that I sent him as well. So I'm very, very, very excited, even that this little bit of a bridge that we've built together has, from your own sense of appreciation and discernment about how you feel, has contributed to an improvement. Does that seem fair? Did I?
What?
What I just said is fair, right? I'm not
Absolutely.
making.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's important for people to understand that I have some basic operating principles. One is do no harm. The second is I do not treat. Third is I do not cure. Okay, so as long as we understand that, I should not have any knocks on my door from the FDA, because really it's just water. And that science today isn't quite wouldn't understand what it is that I do and how that I do it. It doesn't matter if we get the results, does it?
Hell, I don't understand.
Why should you? Yeah. And I just rely on the constants in healthcare that human beings have come to accept gradually over time that most don't understand. But they're constants in healthcare and well accepted at this point. Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much, Jan.
Sure.
You should have enough product to last you a little bit longer, and you'll let me know.
Right. Well, a couple of them had refill, and I'm into the refill already. So
Okay. So any of you watching, if you would like to book a consultation, there will be a link where you can book me for a bioenergetics consultation. And if you're interested in having a conversation about source solutions essences, they are for sale. And they're very modestly priced, because with the cost of what it costs to just live on the planet on which you were born, it's gotten very expensive. And I'm not sure that's really necessary. In the instance in which I'm working, it's not necessary. So there you have it.
thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Jan, for sharing your story with us. And I really appreciate your being willing to try this out, because you could have said no,
Right.
but you didn't. Okay. All right. Thank you. And you'll be in touch and let me know because it does take 2 or 3 days for you to get more product when I ship it, just general UPS, USPS through the mail. They're great.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have a little bit of time. And for those of you who are watching from other locations in other countries, I have shipped product to Guatemala, Japan, Canada, France, England. It is available, but depending on your circumstance, if your circumstance is similar to Jan's circumstance, that requires more specific planning in terms of timelines for where you are at in your journey and when we can get the information to you at your door so you can use it. And there is cost for that, which I do not pay for. Everyone who buys my product pays for their own shipping, but it's possible to really literally get it anywhere in the world at these days. So Jan, congratulations for making it through COVID with several risk factors that was a concern for many people. So glad you're feeling better. Nice to see Guido.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye. All right, bye. Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
All right. Baby step.
Yeah.
Baby steps. Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, let me know. And at this point, I am actually looking for investors, people who will come in and help me turn this into an actual holistic product business that has a bigger impact in the world. And so this little conversation is helpful in that regard.
You have any other conversations like this on tape, like recorded?
I do. I have conversations with people who had big holes in their legs from MRSA, that the product cleared it up in 2 weeks and filled in the holes all the way up to the skin level. They didn't require surgery. Yeah, I have other ones, but it's baby steps. Okay, great. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.